This is Gap, brought to you by Arcane Wonders. In the back of the box reminds you to mind the gap, whatever that means. Anyways, this is a set collecting game for 2 to 6 players, taking roughly 10 to 20 minutes. There's different point values that you can play to. I recommend playing to 15-point short game, and that way you can play a couple games of Gap. Anyways, it's quite easy to teach. In a 5-6 player game, each player will receive a handful of 5 cards. Now, each turn they will simply play one of those cards. So you'll get 5 turns per round. There will be this tableau of 4 cards in the center of the table. On their turn, a player will play a card, so I might play this 8. Now I look at the display that's in the center of the table, and if there's any matching cards, I take those cards along with the card that I played, and they go into my display in front of me, or my tableau, or my collection, whatever you want to call it. And then those missing spots are then replaced with new cards from the deck. Say that I had played maybe this 2 here. This 2, there's no matching 2s. So then I check to see if there's any neighboring numbers. So neighboring a 2 is a 1 and a 3. Now there's 2 3s. I only get to take one of the 3s. But anyways, so I played this 2, so I would take the 1 and then one of these 3s. Maybe I will take this blue 3 because I already have some blues here. And then again, that gets refilled. Now say that I play a card that doesn't have any matches out there, or doesn't have any neighboring numbers. So this is a 0. So if there's no 9s or 1s, and the numbers do wrap, so a 9 neighbors a 0 and a 0 neighbors a 1. So I simply just add it to the cards out on the display. So now the next player, there's more options for them to possibly match or have neighboring cards. Now the whole catch of this game, your score is going to be the gap between the suit or suits that you have the most of minus the suit or suits that you have the least of. And that distance between them is your score for the round. Let's say that at the end of a round, my collection in front of myself looks like this. I have 2 blues, 3 greens, 2 reds, and 1 yellow. The suit that I have the most of is the green. I have 3 of those. And the suit that I have the least of is yellow. I have 1 of those. So I scored 3 minus 1, a total of 2 points for that round. Now, let's say that maybe I didn't have this green and it looked like this. I had 2 blues, 2 greens, 2 reds, and 1 yellow. Well, the suit or suits that I have the most of would be these 3. They're tied. So I actually have 6 points minus 1. So that would grant me 5 points. Well, let's get crazy here. Let's say that I had a tableau or a collection of this in front of me. The suit that I have the most of is yellow, which is 3, and then the suit or suits I tied that I have the least of are these ones. So now I gained 3, well, I actually lost 3 minus 6 points. So I actually lost 3 points that hand. And sometimes that happens, and it's not crazy to have a negative score at the end of one of the earlier rounds. And that is Gap. So it's quite simple. You receive a handful of cards. You play exactly 1 card each turn. Check to see if there's any matching numbers. If there are matching numbers, you take those matching numbers along with the card that you played. If there's not matching numbers, you see if there are numbers adjacent to that, and then you take those. And if there's none of those, you simply add your card to the display out in front of all the other players and try to have the biggest gap between your most suit and your least suit. And that is Gap in a nutshell. These cards are so shiny. I don't know if you can see how shiny they are. My lands. So to see Arcane Wonders have a small card game offering was pretty exciting. Because when I think of Arcane Wonders, I usually think of larger games. Like my favorite game of all time actually is Foundations of Rome, and that box is huge. And quite a few other games are usually larger boxes. And then, so when I saw that they had this little card game at Origins, I, had FOMO. I heard them say, "Oh, that's like the last copy." So, I purchased the copy, and we demoed the game, and I thought it was okay. But with more plays, this game has really grown on me. I really enjoy this game. It is a great game, especially it plays 6 players so well. And it's kind of hard to find games that are, decent at 6 players. So it plays 6 players great, and it's easy to teach. And typically, once players know how to play, the game just flows very quickly. And like I said, with repeat plays, the strategy really starts to reveal itself. So you find yourself maybe looking at what other players are collecting, kind of taking a mental note that those cards are missing from the deck. So, if you're trying to get more greens, you can look and see, well, there's a lot of greens taken already, so I'm probably not going to be able to pump up my greens as high as I would like them to be. So maybe I'll try to level my greens with my yellows, but then it's like, well, what if that doesn't work out? And then maybe your greens and yellows, you end up taking like too many pinks or something. So then your pinks are now the suit that you have the most of, but you accidentally got your greens and yellows to be equal, like 2 or 3 of each, but you only got like 4 of your pinks, and it just, you watch your whole score just go plummeting. It is a really good game though. The cards are interesting. They're very shiny, and they are really thick, and they don't seem like they would shuffle too well, but they actually do. And they have held up quite well. And I've played the game in some questionable situations, like on, kitchen tables or whatever, where you're sliding cards around, and maybe not the most forgiving atmosphere for paper cards to be sliding around in, but they've held up really well. They're bizarrely shiny. and I do kind of wish that maybe some of the colors would have been a little different, or a little more obvious in the color. However, they did put big, gigantic shapes on them, so even if you're colorblind, there shouldn't be any issue really, playing the game, but just kind of nitpicking here. Anyways, it is a fantastic little card game. Definitely recommend it, and I recommend playing multiple of the 15-point game. The rules, I think, say that you can play up to 70 points or something like that. That's one great thing about the game, is it's easy to teach, quick and fast, and I don't know why you would want to ruin that and play the 70 points, because that could take, I think that would take a very long time. We've never played the long game. We've only played the 15 and I think the 30-point games, or it says that you can play a set number of hands. So either way, definitely recommend the 15-point, and then just play a couple games of it. It's a lot of fun, definitely worth picking up, and definitely staying in the Beards collection. And if you found this episode entertaining or informative, please consider clicking that subscribe button, because I definitely need more subscribers. And thanks for watching another episode of Rolling with the Beard.